October 5th, 2002. 20 years ago, Power Rangers Wild Force episode 34 aired, with the episode title called Forever Red, where it celebrated 10 years of the Power Rangers franchise. That episode aired 20 years ago, which is crazy to think about because this year was Wild Force's 20th anniversary, and it's crazy to think that that season, along with a bunch of other seasons that came before it, are now 20 years old. So, in this video, let's look back at and talk about Forever Red, or aka Power Rangers vs. the Big Bad Beetleborgs. Now, I didn't grow up on Wild Force. Wild Force was a season that I skipped out on because I was getting a little bit too old for Power Rangers back in the day. But when I heard about this episode through online and stuff like that, I had to check it out and watch it through, I think maybe early YouTube or some online site back in the day. And what I saw when I checked out the episode, like the fight scenes and stuff like that, it was really freaking cool. Really freaking cool. And I can understand why a lot of people love this episode because this is one of those anniversary episodes that I don't think has ever been replicated. I mean, this was the first time they had almost all the Red Rangers back in the same episode, except for Rocky, and Leo was there too, but I think they had to CGI him in because he didn't really like working with Power Rangers back in the day. But we got almost every Red Ranger. We got to see Bulk and Skull. We got to see the Astro Mega Ship. We got to see the Alien Rangers. We got to see the Big Bad Beetleborgs for some reason. And Serpentera was involved. And it's a crazy fun episode. And they pack so much in it for this one episode. And I gotta say, I would love to read the original script for Forever Red. I know it's floating around somewhere online because the writer had much more bigger plans for it. He wanted to make it a longer special or something like that. And there's stuff that got cut from his script. I would love to go back and read it and find out what never made it into the episode or what ideas got scrapped and pushed to the side. That'd be something really cool to see. I know that Christopher Kamen Lee talks about one of the lines in the episode. It's near the end where they're sort of talking about all their greatest Ranger achievements, and Andros brags about killing Zordon, or something like that. I don't know if that's in the actual episode or it's in one of the cuts, but I know it's in there because it's talked about a lot. But this episode is just a lot of fun to go back and visit. It does have its problems here and there, but either way, the action scenes we get in this episode are pretty freaking cool with all the stunt work and stuff like that. Seeing all these Rangers together on screen fighting the Metal Hero suits. And I gotta say, that's pretty freaking impressive. Does it bother me that they reused the Big Bad Beetleborg suits? Not really. If Disney had the suits lying around when they bought the franchise from Saban, of course they've got to use them somehow. I mean, it'd be even weirder if they showed up in a later season of Power Rangers being the antagonist. That'd be a bit wacky and goofy. But hey, they had the suits lying around, so why not use them? But they couldn't really use villains from the Sentai because if you've seen Gao Ranger vs. Super Sentai, it's a totally different beast from what Forever Red is, and maybe I'll do a review on it. Maybe. I can probably find something to talk about when it comes to Gao Ranger vs. Super Sentai. But Forever Red is something that, like I mentioned earlier, I love to go back and watch because you see all these characters come together, especially that scene where Jason shows up on the motorbike and he sort of gives that big speech where he says, some of you I already know, some of you I don't even know, and a lot of people love looking into that line because Jason looks at Wes and Eric, so it makes it seem like Jason's had a run-in with the police, but not only that, Jason showing up on the motorbike in the duster jacket, that's something as well that people talk about because apparently Power Ranger Hexagon was planned at this point while the guy was writing the episode, so he had that in mind, so Jason was doing the bad boy act already, where he was kind of going to rebel against Tommy and Zordon's old ways, but Hexagon's a story for another day. I mean, I've talked about it on the channel. Every Power Rangers YouTuber has talked about Power Rangers Hexagon at one point in time. So, Forever Red's really freaking cool. Apart from the ending where Cole gets a bike from God and he uses it to one-shot Serpentera, and That's just like a lot of people's main problem with it. And from what I remember, they had to introduce a new toy in the special because, you know, Power Rangers is a show that markets to kids, so they got to have some kind of toy to shove in there. So Cole riding on the little bike at the end of the episode is how he kills Serpentera, which is something. So maybe later down the line they can rebuild Serpentera in Cosmic Fury or something, and he can go out in a more cooler way instead of being one-shot and by a bike. It's hard to wrap my brain around. Now, apart from that brain fart, I feel like we're never probably going to get something like Forever Red ever again with like the state of Power Rangers, because Forever Red was like a special moment in the time where they were able to bring back many actors as they could for this one special. And they tried to do it with Super Mega Force and they fucking failed badly. I mean, we've all heard that story before. But Forever Red, they've never tried to emulate when it comes to an anniversary special. I mean, we had Once a Ranger, which is really cool because Adam shows up. I think that's one of the main talking points, and I love sort of watching the entrance of all those Rangers that show up on the scene that they have for those Rangers. Dimensions in Danger isn't bad. I like it looking back on it. I mean, it's okay for what we got. I think they did a good job with who they were able to bring back. Apart from it turning into the Tommy show and he has the Master Morpher, that it is what it is. I mean, I know Tommy is like the bread and butter of Power Rangers, but they had so many cool Rangers back for that one special, and they all could have had a chance to shine in some shape or form, but they couldn't, unfortunately, because it would have been really cool to see like Trent or someone shine in his own light, or I don't know, Wes or something like that. Well, Wes sort of came through the portal, but they had freaking a bunch of cool Rangers back for that special, and most of them were kidnap fodder, and even though they got the fight morphed at the end of the episode, it would have been cool to see some development with these characters or find out where they've been the whole time. They just showed up and left, but Dimensions in Danger is still fun to watch. I still do enjoy it. It's pretty cool. But like I said, Forever Red is one of those specials that is never going to be emulated when it comes to Power Rangers ever again. Hopefully we'll get something just as cool when it comes to the 30th anniversary. Fingers crossed a lot. And I feel like Forever Red is one of those episodes that the fandom loves from what I've seen online. I mean, I haven't seen someone saying, fuck this episode, I hate it because of this, and that reason. If there is someone who's out there like that, please comment on the video. Please comment on the video. I want to hear some constructive criticism about this episode. Even if you just write like one line why you hate this episode. I just want to find out if there are people that can't stand this episode. But I gotta talk about the elephant in the room. I gotta talk about Cole's actor. Yeah, I know he did a bad thing later down the line, but Cole is one thing that I kind of forget about when it comes to this episode, because Cole is kind of outshined by all of the other returning veteran Rangers, and Cole's the rookie there. And I know that he has some cool action scenes in the episode, and he gets the God Mode God Bike that one-shot Serpentera. I forget about Cole most of the time when I see this episode. Well, not when I think of this episode, because I just remember Jason, I just remember Wes, I just remember Tommy showing up. I mean, I firmly remember that scene of Bulk and Skull playing chess at the Tommy's hotel or whatever he owns at the start of the episode. Like, I barely remember half the things Cole says and does in this episode. I know he has that like awkward handshake with Jason, that part, but everything else, like Cole, is kind of forgettable in this episode. Now, Ricardo Medina Jr. did do a bad thing. Very naughty boy. But Forever Red is just one of those episodes I'm always going to go back and watch and rewatch, and I just like watching that fight scene on YouTube. I mean, it's really fun to go back and watch it. I might watch it again while I'm editing this video, I don't know, but anyway, guys, what do you think of Forever Red? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And if you want to see me talk about Gao Ranger vs Super Sentai, tell me in the comment section down below, and maybe I'll do something similar like I did with this video. So, with that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, bye.